Live from the slightly twisted deck bar, it's the Poojie podcast with Justin Lamine.
All right, want to welcome my buddy Kyle Vrban, good friend of mine from college, met freshman year, into our video interview. Very cool guy, a lot to talk about, a lot of stories. Enjoyed getting to know him in college and keeping in touch after college. So thanks for being here, Kyle. What have you been going through during this whole quarantine time, self-isolation? What's been up with you?
Yeah, so I actually work for Orlando City Soccer, as you already know, obviously for the viewers more than anything. But yeah, just been staying busy with that. I'm one of the lucky ones that I'm at least able to work from home right now, so definitely can't underestimate the value of that. But just trying to do anything to stay busy. I've even found myself trying to do like Duolingo now and trying to learn a little bit more Spanish to help out once I'm back. But I don't know. I've been trying to come up with creative things, maybe like learning like little skills like here and there, even something as simple as like learning how to juggle, like I've never done. So I don't know.
I know you can juggle with your feet, right? With the soccer ball.
Exactly. And that's actually what we're working on right now. We're working on a project with my coworkers where we're juggling like the toilet paper, obviously, and doing like a bunch of different stuff like across different sports with that. Like my director plays hockey, so he was going to use his hockey stick and stuff. So hopefully that turns out good, but we're just trying to stay entertained and stay productive as possible, obviously, when you can't really tell the days apart right now. So
yeah, for sure. And obviously, as you know, and I work for the Jumbo Shrimp, and with sports being on pause right now, there's like a constant thirst for content on the social media platforms for all the teams. So funny, and it'll be cool to see what different teams are doing for different, I guess, entertainment concepts for the fans to keep everyone, at bay and I guess intertwined with the team to a certain extent as it kind of approaches. But I guess we brought up soccer. Would you say that's by and far your favorite sport, or is that?
Absolutely, and I'm sure everyone that knows me that's watching this is going to laugh at that question. But yeah, I've loved soccer ever since I was little. My dad played all 4 years at UCF on scholarship. I unfortunately wasn't that lucky with the scholarships on that side, but was able to get in with Orlando City and just kind of never look back. But yeah, soccer's definitely my main sport. So
that's awesome. And I guess my first real question for you is EPL versus MLS. What's the biggest difference? What do you like? What don't you like? What are things like that kind of come to mind?
Oh man, that's a great question. So the MLS right now, like what we're trying to get out of is the stigma that we're more of a retirement league. And that's kind of been the perception for a lot of people, especially because you see those big names like David Beckham when he came, all these guys, Kaká for Orlando specifically, Andrea Pirlo, Frank Lampard, Steven Gerrard, they're all coming over at the end of their careers. And obviously that's still awesome because these guys are legends of their game and some of the most influential players of the last generation. But what we really want to see is ideally, players that are wanting to come to the MLS to build their career. And I think that a lot of people just don't see the MLS as kind of a part of their, routine when it comes to sports right now. We've had all these other teams kind of ingrained in us, the football teams, the basketball teams, the baseball teams, but soccer's kind of slowly growing, but we've seen it, kind of exponentially take off every time there's a World Cup.
Yeah, that's definitely an interesting point because, you think of soccer, it's one of the few sports that the more prominent professional league is actually an international league. Whereas a lot of other sports that Americans are used to, it's, the NFL and the MLB and the NBA. And the NBA has a huge presence overseas and really good leagues overseas, but still a lot of the revenue and a lot of the talent is domestic. Whereas, soccer, they're trying to pull the talent from overseas and keep it domestic as much as they can. So it's interesting you say that, but you brought up the World Cup, which kind of leads me to my next point. What are your feelings about the Olympics being postponed to 2021? How do you feel about that?
Man, I mean, obviously it's necessary with everything going on, but just disappointing because, it's always cool to see, especially the swimmers. I actually grew up with Ryan Murphy. He's one of the gold medalist swimmers. I think backstroke is his specialty there. And he had the privilege of being on that relay team with Michael Phelps as they were winning the gold in the last Olympic cycle. But it's just going to be disheartening for all those athletes too that have worked so hard to make it to this point, and then right at the finish line, they're not to show what they can do. So it's going to be interesting to see if the same athletes that, were getting ready for this cycle are still going to be the ones, doing it in 2021. Sorry. And whether they're still going to be ready for it and in that same mindset. But obviously the rest of the world is just kind of looking forward to anything at this point. But it's going to be crazy too, just because once everything is rescheduled, it's all going to be going on at once. So I'm kind of interested to see if the sports and different events are going to be fighting for people's attention, or if it's going to be something that just everyone's just looking forward to watching everything that they can.
Yeah, I think my opinion on that is I think people are just thirsty to watch any sports right now. And we've seen a lot of like simulations going on. NASCAR is doing a great job with their simulations, and then there's Madden tournaments going on, simulated professional.
We were watching the 2K basketball. I think like simulations. They had like some old teams for that. Like we were just laughing at that hysterically, just looking at the chat. So
it's going to be interesting to see how it kind of all unravels. But I think it's inevitable that obviously it'll be back at some point. And then you kind of mentioned it with the Olympics, but what are your thoughts on the college athletics kind of canceling in the middle of the season, with those spring sport athletes getting an extra year, but winter sport athletes not getting an extra year? What do you think of that?
I was super confused on that, honestly, like especially because you're looking at these kids are student athletes, that this is kind of the way that they make the name for themselves. And also the thing that we're not looking at right now too is the pro days not happening is hurting a lot of draft stock for a lot of players as well. So just missing out on all these different things, we could be missing out on a whole generation of athletes that we just don't know what they can do because they didn't get the chance to fully reach their potential in the collegiate game. So I don't know. I think that's pretty tough. And if I was one of those athletes, I don't know if I would be able to accept the fact that I just lost a year of what I've basically been dedicating my life to. So I don't know. It's a tough pill to swallow for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely just a very difficult kind of situation, going from everything being normal in the world of sports, and then it's a domino effect because these student athletes, they lose their year of eligibility, but then the freshmen that are incoming, all right, are they supposed to transfer? So it's a domino effect, and it's definitely difficult to handle. But I guess personally, as for you, what have you been doing, kind of keeping busy during this whole quarantine, self-isolation, I guess madness that's going on right now?
Yeah, so I kind of broke down and I bought a Nintendo Switch, so I've been playing that for a little bit. But at least on the productive side, I've been trying to run at least a mile a day, trying to get back into it. Actually, Zach Munoz, he lives like right down the street from me, so
okay, cool, yeah.
We're trying to get into a routine where we can at least meet up to run like a mile or so, 6 feet apart, of course, just trying to stay active, trying to find that sense of like normalcy with everything going on. And that's the toughest part is at my body. I have no idea what day it is half the time. And trying to get into that schedule for eating and working as well is tough to try to get out of bed when in reality you can do everything from the comfort of your bed now being at home. So I've tried to find like a little office space for myself in the apartment so that I can kind of, try to stay on task while I'm there. But with Tiger King and that all over social media, it's tough to stay focused on it. So
yeah, right. That's probably a pretty good way that a lot of people are killing time, just talking Tiger King and watching Netflix and everything. But I guess my last question for you is, obviously we became friends in college and everything, spent a lot of time together in college. What would you recommend, or what would you, I guess, prefer, happy hour or going out at night?
I think I'm definitely more of a happy hour type of person. At least like when we were in college, I remember looking forward to those Friday from like 4 to 7 was like one of the best times, just because like I feel like if you go out at night, you have no idea how long the night's going to last. It could go until 3, 4 in the morning, and you have to worry about the next morning afterwards. And, you can't really talk to each other if you're at a place with like loud music. But if you're at a happy hour, you can kind of just take your time with it. Usually they got some pretty good specials going on, and you can talk to your friends the whole time. And if you want to, take a nap afterwards, and you might wake up confused at 3 or 4 in the morning, but that's okay. Just go right back to sleep, or, just end up going out downtown afterwards and later on that night. But I would definitely say that the happy hour feel is a lot better than the going out at night.
Yeah, happy hour was definitely survival of the fittest, and those that survived it ended up going out or maybe still kind of partying into the night afterward. But you were either getting ready by 4 o'clock to go to happy hour, or you were ready to take a power nap to go out on Friday night at 4 o'clock.
Exactly.
So,
Yep.
There's two types of people in this world, but no, I definitely appreciate you jumping on here. Good seeing you, of course. I mean, obviously with everything going on, it's always good catching up with friends and people around the area. And
yeah, of course.
Thanks for all the good content with the sports talk, and hopefully we get some good debates going.
Absolutely. Love to be back anytime you have me.